Oh. Sahana vavatu sahano bhunaktu saha viryam karavavahai tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti. Maya means the principle of contradiction. That is called Maya. So when you look at the world, you find it is full of contradictions after contradictions after contradictions. Therefore, we say the world is Maya. And that is what he is explaining first. The fundamental one is, you ask this question, why did the world? Who created the world? When this world was created? All these questions appear to be very sincere. Looks very much, correct. But then what you fail to understand is, when you probe, you understand that. What you understand? World means time. World means space. World means causation. So, by asking this question, when did this world begin? What you are actually asking is, when did this illusion begin? That's what you are asking. When did the time begin? When time itself is part of creation. In fact, it is creation. So by asking that question, what time the world got created, it is exactly like asking what time the time started. You can never get an answer to that question. Or any answer that you get will not be correct answer. Your attempting to find answer to those questions would result in failure only. So we say the question itself is fallacious. But then human intelligence cannot keep quiet. You will go on asking, why? 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 That question will go on and on, haunting your entire life. Why this creation? Why it started? By whom it is started? When it is started? What is the purpose behind it? And any purpose given, you will be satisfied with it. That's the beauty of human intellect. That's why they say how naive your thinking is. Any reason given, you will be happy with the reason, or no reason will satisfy you. Only two extremes are there. One set of people get satisfied with any purpose given to it. Another group of people never get satisfied with any purpose given to it. Now both are human only. This is what we meant by contradiction. We say there is a lot of life is full of contradictions. Contradiction, when we say, what is that, sir? And I want to go on giving examples about, examples for contradiction. You can find Find on your own those examples. And that contradictions and contradictions and contradictions is what Vivekananda explains in his lecture series. He gives a series of talk, explains how this Maya is manifesting in your life. So much of contradiction he explains. About 17 points he gives. In that. The details and all you can go and check that. I know that's not the way we are analyzing here. We are analyzing the principle. So here first what you have to do is understand this theoretical one, then go to Vivekananda for live examples. When you combine the two, you get more or less a good grounding on this understanding of Maya. That grounded understanding will become your fundamental conviction. Otherwise, it's just a theoretical idea hanging in your on your head. Yeah, world is illusion. What is illusion? We don't know. But world is illusion. That much I know. Which world is illusion? That and all don't ask. World is illusion. He says, no. First, what you have to do is try to get the theoretical understanding. What is the theoretical understanding? That's what he gives a clue, I said, in the last class. He gives a clue and then expounds. Because if you cannot ask this question, when it got created, what is the starting point of creation? From where this creation started? If you cannot ask the question about the starting point, then what you can ask? This is where it is staggering. You can inquire, can this illusion be ended? See, you cannot ask this question about the starting, origin. So if I cannot question about the origin, is it possible for me to question about the ending? Vedanta says, yes. That is a legitimate question. Can this illusion be overcome? Can I overcome this illusion? Is it possible for me to end the world? That is possible. Then we ask the question, how that is possible? That is possible only by understanding illusion in detail. Without understanding illusion in detail, it is not possible. Let's say if you scan through the literature, Vedantic literature, you find enormous amount of writings we have on this concept of Maya than Brahman. See, about Brahman you have very little actually. But about Maya you have huge, voluminous, material. For illusion, against illusion. See, all systems were attacking Vedanta, they attacked only from this point of view. All other aspects attack is not so much. How Vedanta explains about, we call samsara, there's no problem. Moksha, there's no problem. This, nirvikalpa samadhi, we will see that. Savikalpa samadhi and all, there is not much of an attack on those things. But one idea you find heavily attacked by this, by the other schools, other thinkers, is this idea, because that they can't digest. They say, no, that is not possible, you are wrong. Why? They derive it from the very definition we give for Maya itself. So if you see the material, voluminous material, about Maya. Now, how much you have to study to understand Maya? This one chapter is not enough, actually. How much effort has gone through to compress that entire material to put it into one chapter without compromising any ideas. See, is a task by itself. Yeah, we should be so grateful to the author for that. Because if we have to get on to that, the material we have to study would be like, humongous. So thanks to him again. That, lucky enough. And between you and me, is extra luck I had. Was to study that same text under the author. That is a very rare to get. It is like, theory of relativity class, taken by Einstein, and you are attending the class. See, that's very different from, philosophy, or this, professors is, speaking on relativity, and you are attending the class. There is a distinct difference you can see. Yeah. So here he gives this. He says, if you cannot ask that question about the origin, then immediately we ask the question, can it be ended? Vedanta proclaims, yes, that is possible. It says, yes, this world can be ended. That illusion can be ended. Can you overcome the poison of the snake? Yes, possible. But don't ask me from what is the origin of the snake. Can you get over the snake? That is possible. So what is the position of Vedanta is, says it's exactly like when you are in the dream, you cannot ask that question, when did the dream begin? What is the answer will be given? Can you give an answer? Because in the dream, you can account clearly for that 40, 50 years of your life. Even if you can say that, I'm a very young person, I am a teenager. Even then, you can account for 15 years of your life. And then you can account for your father's 45 years. That also can be accounted. And then you can account for your grandfather, who is 80. That also can be accounted. This also can be accounted. That also can be accounted. So you can easily give account of 80 years of dream. But then the dream is for how long? 2 minutes. The 2 minutes of the dream. You are saying it is this. But what is interesting is, as long as you are in the dream, that's why we call it as Maya, magic. What is the illusion? It gives you a sense of authenticity and reality to it. The experience of the dream looks so authentic, so real to the dreamer. Upon waking up alone, you are able to understand that it was a dream. Isn't it? Not before that. So he says, that is analysis he gives. The dreamer cannot be asking the question of the origin of the dream world. And the dreamer can never believe in his life, wildest of his imagination, he could have been able to accept the fact that he and the dream world came simultaneously? Can he? Will he able to digest that fact? Huh? You and your father and your grandfather, all three of you emerged together. Simultaneously, all three of you had come. Or is it the dream? First his grandfather came, and then his father came, and then there's this dreamer who is teenager now. Was it that order? No, sir. First the solar system came, and then there were all monkeys, and then those monkeys evolved into human beings. Then human beings were living in the caves. Was it all happening? Or the sun, the moon, the galaxy, all that he is seeing in the dream, which is supposed to have been existing for billions of years back, and the dreamer who is just 15 years old. Both of them appeared simultaneously. If you tell that to the dreamer, what would be his reaction? Reaction will be exactly like, I prefer to take a screenshot and share. I don't know how to take it. If I would have known that, I would have taken a screenshot of all of you looking at me like, what's wrong with you? Imagine if I were, this is what the problem is with these philosophers, with Vedantists. They look absolutely illogical. Whereas to say that first there was one, black hole, then the black blast happened. From there, that galaxy came. Out of that galaxy, the Milky Way came. From that Milky Way, one, sun came. Out of sun came this one, and then it cooled down. It took about, few trillion years. All that looks very logical to all of us. He says, it came together. You and the world you are living right now came together. The dreamer and the dream world appear together. It is not that the dream world came first and then the dreamer entered into it. And when the dreamer exits out of the dream world, what happens to the dream world? I remember I asked, I saw some Swamiji. Swamiji, if that is true, you are realized, no. That means all of us would have come out of it, no. I can't remember how much beating I got for that. He called me so affectionately closer. My hand, he said. I thought he's, very genuinely he's calling. He went closer, gave one whack to me. I said, Swamiji, if exactly like when the dreamer wakes up, what happens to his dream friend? What happens to this one? I said, Swamiji, you are realized, isn't it? That means what? All of us should not be having the samsara. No, all of us should have come out. No. No, it doesn't happen like that. That here, if you see, the appearance of the dream world and the dreamer simultaneous, disappearance of the dream world and the dreamer also simultaneous. It is not that the dreamer has come out of the dream world and the dream world is still existing somewhere. Isn't it? It is not like You have come out of your office and you have entered your house. That doesn't mean your office has collapsed. It's not the case, no. Office is there. Similarly, do you say the dream world is still there somewhere? It's not. So once you are in that dream world, you cannot ask the question about the origin, but you can inquire into one question. What is it? Is it possible for me to establish? Because there are two things now. You see, now there is a fight. Actually, it is a total disagreement between the teacher and the student. That's why we keep doing this chanting every class. Ma with Vishavahai. What is it now? Let there not be any disputation between us. Why? Because the teacher goes on saying it is rope, the student goes on saying it is snake. Now we have to establish whether what the teacher is saying truth or the student saying truth. If teacher is correct, the student is wrong. If the student is correct, teacher is wrong. Both cannot be correct. Isn't it? Either you are in the waking state or you are in the dream state. If you say I am in between, you're lucky you are not in front of me. I would have proved to you where you are. I will also say, please come, no, I am. Say. After that, I became very alert. Whenever Swamiji calls me affectionately, means we stay away. He said, Swamiji, okay, we understand. What is this? Is the question, he says. The dreamer cannot ask the question, when did this dream world begin? That question he can't ask. But the question, this is possible, that can be inquired. So therefore, what we are going to do, we are probing into the inquiry of the snake. When you probe into the snake, you understand it. Like, we claim that pothood, is it inherent in clay? Pot has clay in it. Whereas clay doesn't have pot in it. Isn't it? So when you are using a pot, whether to play music or to cook, doesn't make any difference. This Carnatic kacheris, if you go, you will find a person, sitting with the pot and playing. Ghatam, that is called as. Ghatam means pot. Gata means pot, that's all it is. That instrument is called what now? Pot. On that he will be playing music. You can use it for playing music or you can use it. Now you are creating music from where? Clay. Even if you remove pot from clay, clay remains. Whereas when you remove clay out of pot, can pot exist? Same way, apply the same rule to rope and snake. If you remove snake, rope exists. If there is no rope, where is the possibility of snake? Along with the removal of rope, snake also will disappear. But when you remove snake, Rope will not disappear. The adhisthana will remain. Therefore, rope is real, snake is illusory. That's why the principles which I told you in the last class is important. That which gets eliminated is called Maya, Mithya. All these are all very important aspects. Remember. So from where that thing comes about, from this ignorance, avidya. And what is ignorance? And what are the properties of ignorance? Only when you understand what is avidya and what is its properties, what is its nature, you would not be able to understand this concept of illusion. Because it is a projection. What is projected is this. Ignorance of the rope is the cause for the projection of snake, isn't it? So, essentially, this illusion is stemming from what? Avidya. Ignorance. From ignorance comes this illusion. So we have seen the nature of illusion. Illusion has certain properties, certain lakshanas we have seen. Similarly, avidya also has certain lakshana. Opposite of avidya is what? Vidya. So vidya should be carrying exactly the opposite properties as that of avidya. Remember that. Right. Keep this in the backdrop. With that backdrop, you study the next topic. World is illusion. Okay. I have not explained what is avidya property. Now I gave, I think, 5 or 3 we saw. How many I gave about Maya? Maya I gave 5 or 3. I don't remember exactly. Okay, whatever. I think I must have given 3. If I have given 3, I'll give you 3 for avidya also. Out of greed, don't ask me. People, no, sir, it is actually 5. Why? Because you will give me 5 for this, 5 for that also. Give only 3. Waking state, dream state, deep sleep state. 3 only, no. Body, mind, intellect, only 3, right? So he gave 3. Same way, avidya also will give you 3. Contrasting to that, vidya also will have 3. That's the interesting part. So Maya has 3 things. Avidya has 3 things. Vidya also will have 3 things. That you need to understand for you to completely comprehend intellectually what is the concept of illusion. And rest of the chapter, rest of the book actually. All these 3 are important. What are the 3, sir? Maya. What is the nature of Maya? What is the nature of avidya? And what is the nature of vidya? Knowledge. What is the nature of illusion? Nature of ignorance? And the nature of knowledge? 3. Since 3, I'll give you 3. This is how we promise. And then we make it up. Because material these people are given is, huge. So we don't have any problem. We'll say 5, we'll give 5. We'll manufacture something and give you 5. It's not a difficulty here. It's not that I have to sit and think and then create. Then, from Islam, not possible. Because these people have already done all the work. You just have to pick it up and give you. That's all it is. So here, he says, you cannot ask that question. Why? Because it is illusion. What is illusion? Contradiction. what is this? What is the fundamental contradiction, sir? The fundamental contradiction is, how is it possible that grandfather and me appear together? Is it logical? It's absolutely illogical. Adram Tirtha says, if it is not appearing logical, something wrong with your logic, he says. He says, life doesn't go by your logic. Yes. Life will function its own way, man. Proof is this dream. So from there, we are progressing into understanding the waking world. So when you are reading the word world and illusion, first layer, what you need to understand is the waking world is also illusion. Then next layer, when you go, you understand that as world, when he says the waking world, the dream world, and the deep sleep world, all the three worlds are illusion. Then another angle of understanding is the waking and dream illusion, deep sleep is ignorance. This is another angle. There are three angles. Right. Now, I'm just giving you the three angles so that you can do your own study on same chapter, same topic, wherever the word world was used, replace with that and reread it. So this is how you do your individual study. When we say self-study, swadhyaya, when you have to do, when we say, this is what you do. So when you do like that, your understanding gets deepened, solid. When that solid understanding comes, you get convinced. There is a true conviction about it. What is a proof of conviction? The proof of conviction is your objectivity, your ability to become objective. That is a proof. What is a proof? That you have a deep conviction this world is illusion. You would be detached. You would not be getting involved in it. You become a sakshi, a witness. You won't get involved. That's the effect of it. Remember. So that's why this knowledge is very powerful. So now you read this. Read the first paragraph of World and Illusion.
Page 307. World and Illusion. Vedanta declares that this solid-seeming world is not different from the dream world. The waking world also is an imaginary projection upon the reality, Brahman, a mere illusion. However, the world that a waker experiences is defined in time, space, and causation. It is precise, accurate, whereas the world that a dreamer goes through is imprecise, inaccurate. These two worlds therefore differ in degree, not in kind, but both are illusions. The reality supporting them is Brahman. When you realize your supreme self, you get established in the supreme reality, Brahman. The illusory worlds of the waking, dream, and deep sleep then disappear. What remains thereafter is Brahman alone.
This is the first point. We understand few points in the topic. The first point you understand here is Vedanta declares that the solid seeming world. Which world? The world that you are perceiving. The solid perception that you are having. Which world you are experiencing right now? The waking world. The waking world which you are seeing is not different from the dream world. A very, very powerful suggestion here. Powerfully suggesting it is the solid seeming world. Because the experience that we have with reference to the current world is so real. It looks perfectly correct now. So logical. Says, sir, I am seeing you and I am listening to you. You mean to say this is illusion? To which Vedanta says, yes. Why? This is exactly what you said in the dream also. In the dream also, what did you say? I am seeing, I'm hearing, I'm smelling, I'm tasting, I'm touching. Did that make you make that dream world real? No, no. And second point that you understand here is, as long as you were in the dream, you never understand that the dream world to be a dream world. You refer to the dream world as a dream world after waking up. This is the tragedy of any sort of conditioning. See, like one master says, from this side, we have all questions, no answer. Other side, they have all answers, no question. The tragedy is no communication between us. We are full of doubts and questions. And the masters don't have any question. They have absolute clarity. No doubts at all they have. Like, as long as you are in the dream, you can never believe that to be a dream. Isn't it? You take that dream to be the real world. Imagine if you were to know that it is a dream, how you would be reacting to the dream stimulus. In the dream, you have been awarded 10 million bumper prize dollars, right? 10 million Sri Lankan currency. Now, what will you do with it? Poor thing. You know. So, 10 million you are getting. Wow. And all those people were praising you to the skies in the dream. And you know that it is a dream. What would be your reaction? Huh? Sir, what is the point of having all this, $10 million? It is of absolutely no use to service the loan that I have in the waking. You can't service the loan, no. With all the money, you have got that. In fact, you are the one who have been appointed as a chairman of the bank in the dream. But you can't write off your waking loan with that post, isn't it? And you know that. Now, how will you accept? How will you go to that office? How will you walk into the chairman managing director's cabin in the dream? Same way, you have been sacked in the dream from job. What will you do? How will you react to that? Knowing that it is a dream. If you know it is a dream, how will you react to it? This is called veiling power. Is that covering? The beauty is, the moment you go into the dream world, you will completely disassociate yourself from the waking and totally identify with the dreamer personality. You will not have any doubt that am I that personality? You will not have the doubt at all. That is called ignorance. So when we say ignorance, what is ignorance? This is ignorance. That complete identification. Upon waking up, the dream will look imaginary. Just an imagination, sir. That's only illusion. You'll dismiss it. You would not even want to probe into it. You would not even want to inquire into it. Now that's what he is asking. As long as you are dreaming, and remember, that is the law of conditioning. So long as you are conditioned, you will not know that you are conditioned. A drunkard never believes himself to be drunk. He thinks he is normal. Next day only he feels shy for whatever he said, whatever he did previous day. Otherwise, if he remembers, some of them they won't even remember that. See? Similarly, when you are conditioned by alcohol, you will not know that you are conditioned by alcohol. When you are conditioned by anger, you will not know that you are conditioned by anger. That's why to a man who is angry, you go and tell him, why are you getting angry? He'll get more angry. You know, if you want to irritate someone, all that you have to do is, why are you getting angry, man? Why are you looking, why are you frowning? All that you have to do is simply go and tell someone, if you want to irritate, don't use all this, okay. But in some extreme cases, just for fun, if you want to tease someone, all that you have to do is, just go, why are you frowning, man? That's enough. Immediately you will say, who said I'm frowning? Okay, chill, cool down. Don't get, worked up. The moment you say don't get worked up, he will get worked up. Why? He will never know that. The one who is conditioned will never understand that he is conditioned. That's where it is scary. And what is purpose of religion? We saw that first. Use and abuse of religion. We saw that. What is the purpose? Religion is to uncondition you from this conditioning. Of what? From the conditioning that this world has created on you. This is alcohol. This is opium. The world is opium actually. Religion has come to decondition you out of that. And what are you doing? You started using religion to find comforts in the world. That's what he calls as abuse of religion. Hardly we find people who are actually using religion. Majority is only abuse of religion. Why? You are using the tool which is given to you to uncondition yourself from the world to get more and more comforts and get conditioned in the world. Alas, says the Upanishads. The problem is, the real problem for all these masters is not explaining illusion law. The problem is to explain, to make you realize the seriousness is the difficulty. How grievous the situation is. To make you realize that is the impossibility for all these masters. That's called conditioning. Exactly like your friend who is conditioned by alcohol, how much ever you try to tell him, he will never understand what you are speaking. And he thinks you are blabbering. That's the best part of it. Exactly like how we think about these masters. Something wrong with these people, I tell you. You genuinely think something wrong with the masters. Says this is the conditioning. The waking world also is an imaginary projection upon that reality. Brahman. Now, reality, Brahman is just a word given to it, remember. Right? Don't get involved in the word Brahman. Now, many people get involved in the word Brahman. Now, you have to give some word for it. Like in the early portion of the same book, he said people want to give some word, so they gave the name God. Yes, some word you have to use, no, to speak. Therefore, those people use the word God, and these people use the word Brahman. That's all it is. So don't get involved in the word. What is interesting is to make you convinced that the world that you are experiencing now, the waking world, is also is an imaginary projection upon that reality. Then what is the difference between waking and dream? This is also illusion. That is also illusion. Illusion, same illusion. Yes, no. There is a difference. Right. One fellow got drunk drinking vodka, another fellow got drunk drinking rum. That's all. Both are drunk. But there is a difference, no? Like that it is. What is the difference? One is this. I don't want to give bigger examples. Right? You can add better things to the examples now. What is the difference between waking and dream? You mean to say both are same, sir? He says, no. There is a difference. There is a difference between the illusion of the dream and the illusion of the waking. But the difference is not in kind. The difference is only of degree. What is the degree difference? Previous topic, what did he say about the world? World is equal to time, space, causation. If time, space, and causation were to be precise and defined, that is waking. When it is inaccurate, muddled, confused, that is called a dream. That's all. So, if time, space, causation were to work with precision, with accuracy, that is waking world. Dream world, same time, space, causation will work haphazardly. There's no accuracy to it. You will be in the dream, you can just open your door. You will find Krishna standing in the house in front of you. In front, he was bringing the calling bell. Not the fancy dress competition. The real Krishna, original Krishna standing there. Along with Krishna, to your surprise, you will find Ravana also. And Ravana and Krishna are having a tea party. Say, sir, Ravana was which play? What this confused it is. There is no clear-cut explanations you will find. You see, the dream cause and effect relationship is not as precise, as clear as you have in the waking. Just because the time, space, causation have to be working in precision doesn't give it the status of reality. Remember that. That is the first paragraph. Okay. What is he giving the first paragraph, sir? First he says, the dream world is illusory. That is explained in the previous topic itself. When he is explaining what is a fallacy in asking that question. From there and from your own understanding, you claim that the dream world is not real. illusion, according to you. If that is true, then he says the waking world is also same. Does it mean they are equal? No, they are not equal. They are unequal. Unequal in the sense of what? With reference to only one point. The difference between the waking and the dream world is only in accuracy. That's all it is. But to you, the waking world, remember, this we are discussing from whose angle? Waker. Remember that. Okay. From waker angle it is. That is why the waker feels the waking world to be having a real substance, solidarity, precision, clarity, all that is there for the waker to the waking world. If you go to the dreamer, dreamer will say that causation is precise. That time span is precise. That space is correct. So for you, it looks solid. Why? Because you are in it. The moment you go beyond it, the moment you go to a higher state, alone you will be able to understand how this is also wanting. How there is no clarity in this also. Right. So, but as of now, we are studying only from this level. What is it, sir? From waking, we are able to understand dream. Now, can you do the reverse? From the dream, can you understand waking? Reverse is not possible. You see, from waking, you can understand dream. From dream, you cannot understand the waker. Because the dream is of a lower condition. Waker is a complete condition. Right. So who is considering the waking world is real? Keep that question in mind. Okay. So now he says the dreamer, dream world, illusion. Waker says. But Waker says the waking world is real. To which he says, no, the waking world is also illusion. If dream is illusion, waking also, or else you have to take a stand of what? Dream is also real. The dream is not illusion. You have to take a stand. If you take a stand, dream is not illusion, then there is no problem. Then Vedanta will say, correct, okay with you, man. We don't have an issue. But the moment you say the dream world to be unreal or illusion, not real, then waking world is also not anymore real. This is the stand. Okay. Read the next paragraph.
When a person is hypnotized, he sees a lake in his lounge. No, none else see it. To the hypnotized, the lake is real. When dehypnotized, he does not see the lake anymore. So too, in the ignorance of your supreme self, you have hypnotized yourself to believe you are the body, mind, and intellect. In that self-hypnosis, you see an imaginary world of things and beings. The world is just a hypnotic phenomenon. You must get off this self-hypnosis. Wake up. Realize your true self. The supreme reality reveals itself. The world is no more.
Continue.
Vedanta calls this world Maya. Ma means not. Ya means that. Maya literally means not that. You ask if this world is real. Vedanta says it is Maya, not that, no. How can the world be real when it is transient, fleeting, passing? The world does not exist at all times. It disappears in deep sleep. It is also said to dissolve completely upon self-realization. The world does not stand the test of reality. Reality is something that lasts forever. Therefore, the world cannot be real. Then is the world unreal? Vedanta says Maya, not that. No, it is not unreal either. Cannot be called unreal, for unreal means that which never existed, like the horns of a man. Man has never had horns. This cannot be applied to the world because the world exists for you now. Hence, it cannot be unreal. If the world is neither real nor unreal, can it then be partly real and partly unreal? Vedanta says, Maya, not that. No, world cannot be partly real and partly unreal, for the reason that reality and unreality cannot coexist. Thus, the world you experience is neither real nor unreal, nor partly real, nor partly unreal. It is Maya, just a dream, an illusion. Analyze an erstwhile dream. The dreamer and the dream world appear simultaneously. The dreamer would never accept that his life has commenced a few minutes back. The dreamer declares he is 40 years old. He can account for those years in great detail. He goes over to his university and points out his name in the list of its alumni. He asks the principal of his high school to confirm his term therein. He even shows the municipal records wherein his birth was registered. Moreover, the dreamer swears the dream sun and moon, the hills and dales, rivers and lakes have been there for ages. The dreamer considers everything in the dream to be real. Yet, with all those proofs, the dream has lasted only 4 minutes. Now, carefully scrutinize your waking state. You, as the waker, and the waking world that you experience appear simultaneously. The waker declares emphatically that he is 50 years old. Like the dreamer, the waker also has a history of his own and can account for his entire life, bring up his university, high school, and birth registration exactly as the dreamer had done, and substantiate the period of 50 years with proofs akin to those of the dreamer. With amazing similarity, the waker also swears by the world of the waking state that it has existed for ages. He pledges the sun and moon, the hills and dales, rivers and lakes in the waking state have all been there forever. The nature of the experience he goes through is not any different from that of the dream. Both the waker and the dreamer swear by the world that each experiences, even as the one negates the other world. Vedanta declares that you, now as the waker, cannot claim any more reality of this waking world than you earlier as the dreamer had claimed of the dream world.
These two sentences you got to remember. The first sentence where the topic starts and the last one. Vedanta declares that the solid seeming world is not different from the dream world. On what basis? What is the basis for that? Declares means simply you declare, simply you claim, is it? Read the last sentence. Vedanta declares to you, now, as the waker cannot claim any more reality of this waking world than you earlier as dreamer had claimed of the dream world. Now what he is saying is this: if you had claimed that the erstwhile dream and the dream experience, the dreamer, there to be illusory, illusion, then you have no loco stand to claim the current waker and the waking experience of this waking world to be any more real. So Vedanta declares affirmatively on the basis of your claim. Vedanta is not giving any claims here. Vedanta makes this statement not because of Vedanta experience, from your experience, from your claims. You claimed that the subject in the dream who experienced the dream world is different from the subject who is experiencing the waking world in the waking state. They are two different subjects. Even if I were to dream as Ishwaran in the dream, that Ishwaran is different from this Ishwaran. They are not the same. That Ishwaran is feeling hunger. And this Ishwaran is sleeping because he has overeaten. Right? There was a feast. Example only, yeah? Okay. Don't think, you're always overeat. Moderately, I overeat. He said. Depends on what you give. Do you overeat? One doctor asked, you don't seem to be overeating. I said, depends on what people give me. Sir. Depends on what is there. So, the food is not in the fridge in my house. The food is in my stomach. Right? The food which is in my stomach is not helping me to overcome the hunger that is experienced by the dream Ishwaran. But this is what we say, dreamer is different from waker. The waker subject is different, the dreamer subject is different. They are two different things. They're not the same. Now Vedanta says, if you consider the dream world as illusion, you have no reason to consider the waking world any more real. Now you do whatever you want. Vedanta, I don't care. Now you can produce arguments. Now Vedanta says, now you produce arguments to prove. You give a proof, Vedanta, this world is real. And Swamiji, still robot, he will immediately knock his table. You hear this? As he is knocking, I am also doing the same thing. The sound you are able to hear, but what you can't experience is the pain in my knuckle. Your experience is only sound. You don't experience the pain. I'm experiencing two things. I'm hearing the sound, also I'm experiencing the pain. How can I say it is not real? That's why he does that. It's not for you to hear. It is for you to understand the pain. For that, we can't go and break our hand and all that. Okay. Little pain. Pain can be a physical pain, can be emotional pain, can be intellectual pain, can be any sort of pain. When you are experiencing that pain, it looks so real, isn't it? In fact, life is so contradicting. Illusion, we say Maya. You are craving for happiness in life, but whenever you are having happy moments of life, it looks like fleeting. Whereas you don't want pain in life, but when pain comes, it looks solid and real. Never ending, isn't it? This is Maya. Vivekananda calls that as Maya. What is it? Maya. Look at the contradiction. Contradictions of life, if you were to see, can go on and on and on about it. Every aspect of it, if you see, contradictions after contradictions only you will see. Uncertainties, inconsistencies, relative. All that is what? All Maya. says. If you say that pain that I'm experiencing is real, then isn't it the same argument produced by the dreamer when he is talking the dream table in the dream Vedanta class? Did you make it any real? You yourself rejected that, saying it is not. So therefore, he says, Vedanta declares to you, declares that. What is the declaration of Vedanta? On what basis Vedanta makes that? From where Vedanta gets that courage, that strength to declare is from your conviction, from your belief, from your experience. Your experience says very clearly this. And what is so interesting about Maya is you never doubt the dream to be, could it be unreal as long as you are in the dream? Exactly same way, as long as you are in the waking, you can never doubt. If at all you say, it is only because of the Vedanta class for 1 hour. Right. After 2-3 minutes, for this 2 minutes, the hangover will be there. Is the world a real, unreal? This is also unreal, no, all that. Till dinner is served. The moment dinner is served, after that, what illusion, what Maya, this, that, everything goes overboard. Is it real? What sort of a roti this is? Huh? It's like a flying saucer. Illusion, no. That's why I say, as couple, if they learn Vedanta, trouble only. Because if you say coffee is not good, illusion, no. That's why in our tradition, they said, if you decide to take sannyas, if you are not married, you have to take permission from your mother. Not father. Father is not included here. Right? Mother should give permission. If you are married, you have to take permission from your wife. And you are supposed to declare that I am going to take sannyas next year. And for 1 year, you have to live with your wife in the house. If you survive 1 year, you can take sannyas next year. Like I have to declare today, what is the date? 31st March. Oh, year ending, no, correct. Year ending. Oh, declare. I'm going to take sannyas April 1, 2023. Right. And then what you have to do? You have to live in the house only. Right. You know why? Because after 1 week or 10 days, one day there will not be salt in the sabji. And you can't keep quiet. You say, "Inna salt illa?" She will say. After April 23, 1st April 23, who is going to give you with salt? If somebody feeds you, be happy. Now at least you are getting it, no? Say. Coffee will come without, it will not be hot, not this, not that. So much will be happening and you have to live with that. They say, if you can manage to live like this, you are qualified to enter into sannyas. Sannyas is not like, suddenly one day you fight with your wife and get out of the house. That's not sannyas. See, you have to declare. That is the traditional way of taking sannyas. Why? This understanding is it there in your system? That is a question. You see, that is called transformation into this information getting transformed into wisdom. Now, before you go to wisdom and all that, first try to intellectually understand, theoretically understand first. Illusion, what is this? Keep repeating this. If you believe the dream to be illusory, unreal, then you have no reason to believe the waking world to be any more real. And start providing arguments for that. Is there any exception? Is there a possibility? And try to give as many as possible. That is called reflection. So this is the principle you take. And then you sit back and start thinking on that. That is how this information will sink in. When it sinks in and settles, seasons in you, that becomes wisdom, that becomes conviction. Then the world is illusion, is conviction. Otherwise, it is just a information to you. Of course, starting point is information. Okay. So keep thinking like this. In between, he gives one more idea. This I'll explain in the next class. That's what I said. Ignorance. About ignorance and knowledge, he gives that this hypnotized. You're hypnotized by what? Because of this avidya, ignorance. Like, again, go back to the example. Ignorance of the rope is the cause for the projection of snake. The non-understanding, non-apprehension of the rope is the cause for misapprehension of the snake. So this avidya, that this ignorance is what is referred as hypnotized. Then dehypnotization is what? Vidya, opposite of that. So you understand hypnotism, you understand dehypnotism. What is that? We'll see that in the next class. Right. Very good.